You know our next guest from her work in Barbie and the sitcom Derry Girls. She stars in Bridgerton, which premieres the first half of its highly anticipated third season on Netflix May 16th, with the second half arriving on June 13th. Let's take a look.
Gentlemen, I believe you know Miss Featherington.
How delightful to see you all. Such splendid weather we are having.
Mrs. Featherington, you seem discomposed.
No? No, forgive me. I'm quite well, my lord.
Please welcome to the show, Nicola Coughlan, everybody. Hey, Nicola.
Hey.
They're very excited you're here. They're very excited you're here. Yep, they are. No,
I'm not Beyonce. Calm down. Too much.
No, in their defense, I told them you were Beyonce, so that's on me.
I'm so sorry.
I do want to get to Bridgerton, but I also want to get to the fact that I had heard you were an SNL fan. I'm like, oh, that'll be so cool. You get to come to 30 Rock.
Yeah.
You know, I'll show you 8H. You've been there, and you actually did the tour.
Oh, I paid to come here.
Okay.
Yes, I was very excited and I loved it and I paid. And it was when Derry Girls had just come out. And I was like, no one will know. It was like 5 days that it come out. So I was like, no one knows who I am. You get to the end of the great tour, by the way. You get to the end of it and they're like, you can make your own chat show. Everyone was really shy. So I was like, I'm going to take a stab in the dark and think, like, none of these people are going to know me. So I was like, they're really shy. I'll do it. It's fine. So I got up, I was like, hey, welcome to Late Night with Nicola Coughlan. Da, 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 da. And my friends were like, you're an idiot. And then at the end, someone came up, they were like, loved you on Derry Girls, by the way. I was like, oh, very embarrassing. Very embarrassing.
You went recently. You saw my
Kristen
old
Wiig.
one of the. I mean, she must be. I'm gonna guess she is one of your heroes.
Funniest person alive,
Yeah.
aside from you as well.
No, including.
Aside from, including altogether.
Yeah. She's the best.
I met her once. I panicked so hard that I invited her to move into my house.
Oh no.
She said,
Wait,
yeah,
so you-
I'm still waiting. Yeah.
So you met someone you really admired, and the best you could come up with is, will you move in with
Do
me?
you want to live in my house? I didn't even have a house then. I was living in a small flat.
Oh, man.
Yes.
She's smart. She probably Googled to find out if you had a house.
Yeah, it was not worth it for her. Yeah.
So Bridgerton
Yes.
was a show that you guys came out during the pandemic. So
Yes.
that must have been a case of you had no idea how your life would change in public.
I was, it was during COVID, obviously. I was living at home with my mum. Shout out Beatrice. Okay. And she loved that.
Yeah.
And they were like, 82 million people watched it. I was like, that sounds amazing. I'm locked in my house.
Yeah.
I have no frame of reference. And then when I left my house, eventually, I was like, oh, people know who I am now a lot. Oh, that's different. Yeah.
And it does seem like both a very fervent but also a very kind fan base. Is that?
Very kind.
That's
because
wonderful.
they love love and dancing and romance. And they're lovely. Yeah, they're lovely.
Well, there's a lot of your love for them to love this season.
Very much so.
Yeah, and let me just say from the clip, excellent fan work.
Oh, thank you very much.
Excellent work with the fan.
Yeah.
You know your way around a fan.
It was wild because I am incredible at flirting. So to play someone that was bad at it was a real stretch for me. No,
You could see you were tamping down
I was
your
like,
natural.
no, my natural riz. I was like, let's get that out of the way. No, I'm pretty terrible, yeah.
With the costumes, beautiful,
Beautiful.
deeply
Epic.
uncomfortable.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's a wig that goes along with that.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so I'm corseted and I have things and
Right.
you know.
Here's a photo. Here you are, corseted in Uggs.
This
very
is what
rarely.
happens underneath.
Yeah.
So I'm like uncomfortable, comfy girl. Nice time. Fun. Yeah.
And this is taken the day you died.
Yes, R.I.P. I have been brought back to Earth, which is why I'm here to talk about my business.
This is
reincarnation.
explain what exactly is happening here.
What is happening here is I went to visit my friend in LA. It was Oscars weekend, 2020, February 2020. Oh, what different times they were. And my friend Jonathan Van Ness, who was on Queer Eye, was hosting the Elton John Oscar party. He was like, come along. And I was like, you know, like, bring your little cousin to the event. I was like, I can't believe I'm here. This is so cool. And then they were like, but you have to be back on set. And I was like, I will be fine on set. I will not be sleepy at all. And that's when I got back to set. So, yeah.
It was revealed in the season 1 finale, so I think it's safe that I'm not ruining anything, that you were Lady Whistledown. Was this something you knew going into it when you were cast?
Yes, I found out in a super professional way. I found out on a Reddit fan forum.
Okay.
Because I Googled it. I Googled it. And then I arrived day 1. I was like, this is amazing. Am I her? Like, is that me? Do I get to? And they were like, yeah, it's you. And then I proceeded to tell everyone. So it was a surprise for nobody in the cast because I wouldn't stop talking about it.
It turns out you were terribly cast as someone who was good at keeping a secret.
Rubbish, yeah. But also, I'm like, technically, I job share with Julie Andrews.
Oh, you
so, like,
do
how
job share.
Right? If someone doesn't know who I am, I'm like, me and Julie, we split the work. And it's, it works for us. It works for us, yeah.
Is it true that people are disappointed when they realize you are not British?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but they should be more excited because I'm Irish.
Yeah. I mean, I almost feel like that's someone who's never met an Irish person.
Exactly. I'm great crack.
At what age did you learn to have a British accent for professional work?
For professional work, I was about 14. I used to do a lot of voiceovers. So it was like, there was a tiny frog or a little princess. I was like, I will do that voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And were you really good at frogs, princesses?
Especially at a frog princess crossover. Are you kidding me?
You couldn't do better.
There was no one else in the west of Ireland that could do that better than me. Yeah, yeah.
It is such a joyful show.
Yes.
I just want to quickly say about Dairy Girls.
Yes.
Was that just... Even though obviously you thrive in any accent, it must have just been so fun to do a show that was so Irish and so beloved by everyone.
It is so much harder than the British one.
Yeah.
Because I say the word G-I-R-L, I say girl.
Yeah.
They say girl, which is like there's so many more vowels in that than exist. Like it's so difficult and like they say things like 8-hour power shower and things like that. That's 8-hour power shower. So I just realized I said sounds that maybe didn't. Yeah.
One more juggernaut. You were lucky enough, and we were lucky enough to see you in Barbie.
Yes.
That must have been such a cool experience as well.
Crazy. It was crazy. I mean, I auditioned for it, and they were like, Greta Gerwig likes your tape, and I just fell on the ground, and I lie on the ground for a long time. And then they were like, but you're filming Bridgerton, so you can't be in it. I was like, please, a little bit. And they were like, it won't work. I was like, a small, tiny little part. So I emailed Greta, and I was like, I will clean the floors. I will make the tea, but I would love to be there. So they let me like pop in. But the day I went to set was the day Ryan Gosling had no top on. It was very overwhelming.
Yeah.
That is hard, and people don't give me enough sympathy for how hard that was to deal with. Imagine the first time you met him, you're like, where's no tops? No top. Yeah, it's a lot.
I thought that was in your rider. You're like, I'll do it, but when I get there, Gosling better have his top off.
I know. I was like, not again, Ryan. For God's sakes, cover it up.
What a joy to have you here.
Oh,
what a joy to meet you in
nice.
person. Congratulations on everything.
You.